Hi gang, Rob here. It's the evening of 17 December 2018. I'm here to share with you tonight an interview that I did on Friday. I traveled up north to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, to New Sheffield, the Escanaba Gladstone region, the cradle of fixed blade custom cutlery. And I like to go up and visit the Stewarts and Reed Hyken and Matt and Jenna Martin and Dan Tope and those guys as much as I can. And I like to do it. I like to go up at Christmas time, just kind of say hi to everybody and spread some Christmas cheer. And I had one specific agenda item I wanted to get done this time. And you know, on this channel in the last few years, we have seen and talked to lots of custom knife makers from that area. You know, we've talked to Matt Martin, we've talked to Dan Tope, we've talked to Jesse Hemphill, Zoe Christ. Spent lots of time with Mike Stewart, the founder and owner of Bark River Knives, but there's one extremely talented knife maker in Escanaba that we just haven't spent a lot of time talking to or about. And he's easy to overlook. His name is Jim Stewart. He is sort of the general manager of Bark River Knives, and he is the youngest son of Mike Stewart. And not only does Jim shoulder a lot of the work in running the day-to-day operations of Bark River, he's also an extremely talented custom knife maker. And I sat down to talk with him, and I wanted to talk to him about his work, the stuff that's really personal to him, and also about how he sees the future of Bark River Knives, as we say in the interview, 30 or 40 years from now, when the 70-year-old Mike Stewart finally decides to quit working. So I wanted to share this interview with you. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. And Jim, I hope if you're watching that you think we captured you. So let's take a look now at my interview with Jim. Here it is. Hi gang, Rob here. It's the afternoon of 14 December.
At 4:14 p.m.
Ooh, weird.
It never works out like
We're
that.
like 6 minutes from 4:20.
We are. You mean here in Michigan? I don't know what you're talking about.
We don't talk about that on this channel. But I'm here today with Jim Stewart of Bark River Knives. Jim.
How you guys doing?
Jim is the son of the legend, Mike Stewart.
Indeed. Yep.
And Mike turned 70 a couple months ago, didn't he?
I know he did. He's he always said it was 25 and holding, but
Not believable.
It's hard to believe that now.
So I thought it would be, not that Mike's going to die soon.
No, not by any means.
But you know, he probably won't live forever, ever, and you're probably going to outlive him.
I would say statistically speaking, yeah.
So that sets the stage for why we're interviewing Jim Stewart. How many YouTube interviews have you done that were just dedicated to Jim Stewart?
Maybe about 4 or 5 total.
So many. Wow.
Maybe 4 or 5 total. I mean, a lot of them actually were at IWA, overseas.
Right.
You know, so there's a lot of German videos where I'm there showing off Bark River products, just who I am, and you know, the history of the business.
Yeah.
Stuff like that too.
So you are a man in your 30s, I would guess?
I'm 34.
34 years
34.
old.
Yeah, I don't look it, and I know that. I get carded all the time for alcohol. All the time.
So you're all grown up, and you're in the knife business.
Yes, I'm in the knife business. I do. I think the best way to describe it would be I am chief of operations for Bark River Knives. So I'm in charge of all the process and all the blade movement in the pipeline, the material acquisition, making. You know, I have a system of oversight that goes into organizing all the materials in the correct order of the runs to make sure that everything comes together at the beginning of the production, and then overseeing the exact processes of processing the knives and the parts together through assembly all the way through production to the final product. And then my sister actually is the one who packages and invoices.
And harasses you.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. But she's the one that makes sure that we get stuff done correctly. So,
yes, she does.
Yes. Whereas my accuracy rate's like 90%. Jackie strives for that pure 100% accuracy on all these orders.
Viewers of this channel know, after years of grinding videos, that the Jackie character has a certain disposition.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It is very much. It's very much. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, my name's Jackie. Do you have those knives done now?
Where's my green card?
Where is it? I'm supposed to have 5 green canvas. There's only 4 here. What did you do?
So that's Jackie, Jim's sister.
And we need that. That's a good thing. Yeah.
Because you're much more laid back than that.
I'm much more laid back. I'm more apt to be a little bit more lax, and but we all keep each other in line. You could say it's a built-in familial check of system and balances.
Absolutely.
System of checks and balances. Sorry.
Almost the yin and the yang of the entirety of your father.
Almost. Yeah. He's able to organize all that stuff mentally. I need banks of reporters' notebooks that I carry around and fill out. I go through, I think, 2 packs of those a year. Just massive amounts of note-taking. But it's what keeps me on track and works.
There you go.
So
the two of you, at some point, 30, 40 years from now, and Mike's no longer able to continue, you'll be Bark River Knives.
Yes. Essentially. Simply.
Simply
speaking.
With a large family of associates who
Absolutely.
who bring this all together every week.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how did you get here? You know, because I don't think it's a lot of people might just expect that you were Mike Stewart's son, Jim Stewart. You grew up, all you ever wanted to do was make knives. So it was just an obvious thing that you were going to end up being the second generation of Bark River. But it might not be exactly like that.
It was not exactly like that. I actually, because knives were such a huge part of my life growing up, it was part of our culture. You know, right? And I always wanted to expand outside of that. Something that my family never really progressed in was any sort of level of real technology. And that's not to say that we had, like a plow and a cart and a horse, but more like getting onto computers was very difficult for members of my family. And the internet and technology and mobile technology is still something that was always hard to I hesitate to use the word grasp, but really just adapts to your life. And that's something that I've always just been interested in is computers and technology and video games and all that fun stuff. So that's really kind of what I wanted to go for. So when I went to college for computer systems technology with an emphasis on security. So that's being a security admin for Windows and Linux systems and being able to do network topology for large organizations and virtualization specialization. That's just fun to say.
Virtualization specialization.
Yeah, and basically being just a general admin, so that's everything that you could think of as far as computers are concerned and networking and making sure your file transfers are going well, all sorts of cloud-based apps and softwares and app delivery, software as a service. Yeah, I've got all the terminology in my head still. And but the thing that I found out about that is that I'm just, no matter how good I ever got at that, I'm way better at making knives.
And you are way better at making knives.
Thank you. I love doing this, and I'm very Bob Loveless in the way that this dagger is awesome. I love this dagger. It's my version of a Randall Model 2, and I think it's balanced well. I think it feels good. I think it looks really good. This entire thing started as a bar of rusty steel, and from that I had scrap brass guard, scrap pommel, and this started out as like a 3/4 by quarter inch thick bar of brass.
Wow.
And then this was like a 1/2 inch tall square of brass that I just found in the scrap pile back there. Scrapped pieces of black linen and antique ivory in my car, and I had a sheet of 15 thousandths brass. All together in one shot comes up with a $400-500 dagger.
Let me see.
Just in one shot. So yeah, that's actually what I'm working on right now. I'd like to call special attention to the soldered guard because that's something new that that Matt Martin with Vehement Knives is actually really awesome in teaching me exactly how to do that. It's pretty decent well, right?
He's taught you very well.
Thanks.
In fact, you could have shown me this and said, look what Matt made, and I would have said,
No, I did that one. That one was all me.
The camera will pick this up. Let's try. So the solder joint, guys, where guard meets ricasso, is absolutely perfect. Hope you can see that.
It's pretty decent. But yeah, no, I'm very Bob Loveless in the way that I love taking pieces and making something beautiful that I know will last a super long time. This thing will go to somebody's great grandchildren, and they'll be proud to own it. I mean, it's a razor sharp double hollow dagger, and everything's symmetrical on it. It's nice and beautiful, and I just love doing it. I've never gotten the satisfaction working with computers or with anything any greater than what I get out of making something like this.
It's gorgeous.
So I mean that translated, and all of that started just with working for a job at Bark River when I was younger.
So I've noticed, just on social media lately, I've seen some photographs of some knives from your page that on one side say Jim Stewart, knife maker?
Jim Stewart Maker.
Maker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jim Stewart Maker.
So
Yeah,
what's the
that's right.
story with that?
So
with that etch.
So I met a number of knife makers recently over the last number of years, and I realized that while I had made knives start to finish on my own, the entirety of my experience has been entirely inside of just mid-tech production hand-finished knives, which, you know, shortens my learning curve by a dramatic amount. Once I get that knife together, 20 minutes later it's done. Polished, sharp,
Right.
the whole thing, beautiful, lasts forever. So I can do that. What I didn't have was all of the small little nuances that go into custom knives, and I wanted to kind of learn how to do all that stuff. The dagger was actually one of the first projects that I had out of the custom shop. So I started the Bark River Custom Shop, aptly named, nice and simple, and it's a limited quantities of 1 to 50 of models that you're not going to find inside of Bark River's catalog, but still made by Bark River. Most of them will be made by me personally, just on my own. So the first model that I had was just the Nihon Utility, which I don't have here. I don't have one of them because they all sold. But it was just like a Japanese style inspired EDC that's, you know, you can just slip in your pocket and quickly use. And I just have projects lined up in small quantities just to keep things going. The next project that I have right now are 10 of these guys, 10 of these daggers.
So are these going to be able to be purchased through normal distribution channels, or are they going to be direct?
No, they're normal distribution channels.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, I've got a deal with DLTTradingCompany.com. They are excellent people, by the way, to deal with, and they're gonna host my stuff.
That's awesome.
So it's small quantities to them. We do a timed drop like we did with the Nihons. We did the Nihon Utilities 2 weeks in advance after delivery. Everything was, you know, there were photos taken, a little bit of social media come-uppage, if you will.
So if
the
you
whole
guys
thing,
have
and then
never
we
heard
dropped.
of or seen a Nihon,
Yeah.
it's because that's how long it took them to sell out, right?
They sold in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
All 15 of them were gone in 2 minutes. And I'm not like a world-class expert at like social media hype at all. I just said, hey, these are going to be there about that certain time, that certain day, and now they're gone. So yeah, but the next one I just have these daggers. This is one of them, and just that's what it looks like when it's totally finished. The guards are that 3/4 by 1/4 inch brass. That's one of them right there, and they're all handmade.
What are we calling this?
I don't have a name for this one just yet. I gotta come up with it. I don't know. Maybe you guys in the comments can help me out with that, and Rob will get back to me.
That'd be interesting.
I'm totally open to a name.
All right, put some thought into this, guys.
Yeah. Bubblegum Destroyer probably will not work. I'm gonna say no to that one.
Cheesecake cutter?
Cheesecake Cutter.
We already have that.
We already do. We already do. I think we just did that. Actually, at the regular Bark River shop.
So stylistically, I've noticed a couple things sort of coming out of your mind in the last couple years. You know, we normally think of a Bark River knife having a sort of Loveless style handle.
Mm-hmm.
We know Mike likes to do a lot of drop points, some swedge, some not, all convex grinds.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed some of your early prototyping, a lot of segmented and faceted handles.
Yes.
Is that something that's kind of yours stylistically?
I'd say that's mine stylistically because I like to do them.
Right.
To tell you the truth, I'm a huge fan of the 2-inch radius wheel, where I have a negative radius and then a positive radius, and they butt right up against each other in this perfect seam. I've done that quite a few times. I like doing stuff like that. But most of my knives just revolve around, so far, truthfully, they've been around hidden tank construction. I mean, so I'm heavily influenced by Skagel. I'm heavily influenced by Randall in the construction of these. The dagger that I did is a Randall style construction. It's a Model 2, for all intents and purposes. I like rat tails with the pin into them, and for some reason, to me, there's something just supremely elegant about a well-made, well-fit, mechanically solid hidden tang knife.
Yeah.
Because I know, you know, those things are just as strong as any sort of full tang will be. You can get a lifetime use out of them, and they just look classic.
Absolutely.
Just love the look of hidden tang knives, especially if they're very well made.
And you really have a blank canvas. I mean, if you hard for you guys to see, but we've got brass spacers, black spacers. Is this a black micarta or G10?
That is black linen.
That's black linen.
Black linen in there.
And the options, the choices are kind of limitless. Whereas if you're doing a full tang knife, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I love hidden tang knives is that it's very easy to actually do all sorts of different segmented spacers in interesting ways. You just have to get square pieces, make your joinings, decide what you want, and just make it, and then put it together. And full tang knives, you can do the same thing. You can do the same thing all day long. I mean, look at the custom slip joint guys. They'll do custom spacers that match perfectly left and right scales. It's the same technique on full tang knives, on fixed blades, and it just takes a longer time to do, a significantly longer time to do. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm just kind of in love with the style that I got going on right now. And if you guys follow me on the page, you will see the evolution of the designs as they go. I mean, you can almost watch it as a track. You know, just starting at the beginning and going through, you'll see the changes as it goes, because that's how we all grow and learn. I mean, we always are this way at this point, and then we have our different experiences, and then things shift, and then now we're like this, and then things shift, and then now we're like this.
And by the way, guys, I'll try to put links in the description to all the Bark River social media and their website, and links to specifically look at some of Jim's custom stuff. So if you're not familiar with Bark River Knives and Jim, that you'll be able to take a look over there. So this is custom shop stuff we're looking at. As time goes by, in the future of Bark River, what do you see happening there as you become more involved in the direction of the company?
Definitely more experimentation with those full tang knives that we were talking about. We know from our sales curves what models sell, what models don't, what models drop off. If you'll notice, that Bark River has a massive backlog of discontinued knives. Right, we're just like every other company in that aspect, where we will make what works and we will sell what works, and then if it doesn't sell, we drop it. And those are just strict business decisions. But where I'd like to see us going as a step up to bring the game up is I would really like to get into nice high-end folders. Either I don't know if I want to go liner lock frame locks though. I think I want to bring back the back lock, or maybe bring back a really nice slip joint. You know, just to kind of start, bring back the peasant knife, or start with something like that, because everybody and their mother has a frame lock at this point. I mean, I think we all know that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just don't know if it's a direction that we also want to tread on.
Right.
Not that that wouldn't sell if we did. It would, but I also think that this other things would sell just as well.
Yeah, and you know, we've been through a period, well, let's face it, the last 30 years since the Sabenza was invented. 15 years into that cycle, all custom makers were making frame locks. It was the only lock you could sell.
I really think that was in part due to the romance of constructing them.
I think so too.
Right, because they are fun to make, and when you get it, because there's such a small amount of minutia and danger in it, is that if you go just slightly too far on that ramp, your knife's garbage at that point. And so there's a thin edge, razor edge of danger that you have to skate.
But not a lot of high tech equipment needed to execute the knife.
Correct. Also true. Yes. So there's all sorts of homebrew solutions into making stuff like that, and a lot of creativity that guys put into, which is cool.
It is cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
But not the strongest, most reliable lock ever made.
Nope.
So it's been a little sad to me to see the industry be so dedicated to that one locking system. I do think we're going away from that now.
I think so too. I think so too.
One of the main reasons is that the dirty little secret that nobody wanted to talk about was because they didn't own the patent. The Benchmade Axis locks may be the best lock ever made.
I would agree with that. Benchmade, if you're watching this video, excellent job on that Axis lock. It is levels of genius that most people don't even catch.
It is level, and you know, now people have their own. You know, there's some custom makers experimenting. Will Moon's doing some knives with what he calls the Spindle Lock. Very similar design.
Right, same concept.
Same concept,
yeah.
So you're going to see more of that. So maybe we'll be away from the frame lock myopia a little bit.
And I would prefer an Axis lock over a frame lock any day. I mean, especially in production and constructing them. I mean, I don't know if this is also a dirty little secret, but I was talking to Rob about this a little bit before. It'll clue you guys in too. But so when you're making a frame lock, right, you have to adjust the blade ever so slightly to get it to be able to drop in perfectly. Or you wire EDM, you have a very expensive process that ensures that everything is perfect, that you can take out of that batch every blade and put it on every handle and have a perfect lockup. That's a very expensive thing to do in a large production scale. The beauty about the Axis lock is that wedge system where you just have to make the parts and put it together, and then you have a perfect lockup. There's no adjustment. That is massive from somebody, from my perspective, as a knife maker and manufacturer looking at that. So it's like, that's what I mean by levels of genius beyond your normal perception.
So what we're talking about, and you guys who are familiar will know this, the distance that the Axis bar travels to engage the blade tang with the blade against the stop pin is well more than enough travel to compensate for the variability in the dimensions of the blade tang and where the slot is.
Yep.
So it's a totally self-adjusting system that needs no fine-tuning when it's done.
None.
They always go together exactly right with plenty of room to spare.
Lots of room left over. And once I remember looking at a Benchmade Axis lock. I can't remember what it was. It was a Griptilian, I think, just a basic Griptilian.
Cheapest practice locking.
And it was 940 Osborne. That's what it was. This is a 940 Osborne. And I remember looking at that and going, there's no grind marks on this blade at all. Well, how did they oh, they didn't adjust it. It just goes together like this.
It does just go together like that.
And it's done. And it's beautiful. It's really cool.
So it's one of the strongest locks ever made. One of the easiest to manipulate. One of the easiest to manufacture. And one of the most fun to play with.
It is, too. You pull back on that Axis lock and you just whoop, and then you're out, and then whoop, you're back in. It's cool. It's cool.
Okay, that's enough tooting Benchmade.
Okay, yeah. But still, good job, guys. We're knife guys. We're knife guys first.
So folders, folders, and you know how long we've been teasing them.
Oh, I know.
About Bark River making folders.
Yeah, we had a game plan and that fell through.
Yeah.
But we're always looking toward the for the next step, and I actually like that the market's kind of dropping off of frame locks and liner locks a little bit, because I prefer a back lock in a folder.
Don't mind. I'm not distracted.
No.
I'm just looking for.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Oh.
So there's that. We also have different ideas.
It's got a flipper.
Yep, it's a flipper that doesn't lock.
Oh.
Yep. How does it retain itself in there? I made that knife like 4 years ago. By the way, it's just a concept. There's a magnet in it.
Shh.
Oh, it's a concept. But I prefer back locks, and I prefer easy opening locks because I just trust it more. I mean, to me, mechanically, it just makes more sense that it's not going to fail on you, especially if it's really tight. If you're dimensioning your frame lock, or not frame lock, if you're dimensioning your lock back perfectly, you should be able to slide those pieces together, pick one up or the other without the other part falling out. And if there's any pressure on the spine, you're not going to be able to depress the lock at all. That's the level of precision and durability that I want inside of a lock back before we even get started. So it's going to take a little bit of research and development to get that. Dad has lots of hot ideas. Back in Blackjack, he used to import them from Japan back in the day. The guy that had the company was like the best folder maker in Japan at the time, who then retired. And I have all of Dad's old drawings, and he has a bunch of new ideas. I've got ideas too. So when we do finally decide to pull the trigger, it's going to be a full gamut, all sorts of different sizes when we get there. And maybe that's something that I'll be spearheading.
All right. So for some reason, guys, the camera went blank while we were talking, and we're going to try to guess where we left off. So
I'm pretty sure I was talking about how my wife was helping me mark out these guards. So as I was describing earlier, these guards are 3/4 by 1/4 brass strip, and I just split it into 2 3/8 sections for the guard with a slot directly in the middle. And then we're going to 2D these and put them on. But my wife actually is the one that measured all this stuff out while I was cleaning up the grinds on these. And that's the trick to making something like the custom shop work, is as many parallel processes running at the same time as possible in one shot. So that's just, the first step and all of that. So a little bit of a family affair in the custom shop and in the regular Bark River production line. I do want to stress do want to stress about the custom shop stuff. I do want to stress that the Bark River knives is still my main priority, 100%. So
well, that's good to know.
Well, I mean, and then it just means that I'm at the shop till 8, 9 o'clock at night working on these.
Oh, so instead of only working a measly 65 hours a week,
we're gonna up to 80.
Okay,
we're gonna up to 80.
If you guys hear some strange little electronic noises in the background, that's because somebody who sits in the black leather chair, which is out of the field of view of the camera, is here now.
I'm not here. No, I'm not here.
No,
it's your imagination.
The guy in the red sweatshirt on Friday is not here.
That's right.
If you see Newport smoke wafting in front of the lens, you'll know he's not telling the truth.
So what's up?
So what's so I think the future of Bark River is secure and forward looking.
I think so too. I'm pretty confident in my own skills as a person, as a manager, with my experience working and making knives here. My working with Dad on the exact flow of the production schedule, the cash flow. Who's not here? He's definitely not here right now. He's not here, sitting right there. I'm very confident that I can take it over with very, very minimal hiccups.
You know, he told me before we started shooting. Someday I might want to retire. I said you're going to expire.
I'd like to help Dad have a retirement.
What's he going to do?
He's probably going to make knives.
maybe Skittles will let him drive one of his tractors.
I don't see Dad driving a tractor. I don't see him doing
straw
that.
Hat.
I don't know.
No, overall,
no, I don't think so. I think if we were to hand that to him, I think he would hand us back Char.
Char.
That's what I thought of your suggestion.
So I got a couple personal questions for you.
Sure.
So
wait, how personal?
Well, suitable for a family channel.
Okay. Go ahead.
So you're a married guy.
Yeah.
Your wife's name's Abby. We've established that.
It is.
And,
yes.
You've got 30 or 40 little people running around.
It's not quite that much. My wife and I have 2 children together. I have another older child by the name of Emily, who is 16 from previous before I got married.
But wait, there's more.
I also have 2 foster children because Abby and I are fully licensed foster parents in the state of Michigan.
That is so cool.
And we actually did that because Abby's sister had gotten sighted and had their children taken away from her, and they needed a home placement immediately. So we just said yes. I mean, because that's what you do in that situation. If somebody comes to you and say these kids don't have a place to live, you're the closest family member. The answer is yes. You just go yes. I'm going to do this.
That is what you do if you were raised a Stewart.
Well, it's compulsory. You just can't help it. You know,
Mike's up to what, like 2,700 grandkids now?
2735.
2735.
It's a nice even fifth multiple.
Anybody who walks into this facility who's under the age of 30 is now a grandchild of Mike Stewart.
I think he collects them, but it's okay. He's the best grandpa I've ever seen.
I wish he was my grandpa.
I wish, yeah. He's the best grandpa I've ever seen. He shows up on the weekends almost like clockwork to take 1 or 2 of the kids in whatever combination that may be out for lunch or shopping or prepping for Sunday night dinner, and then they'll just hang out with him the whole time. I'm really kind of convinced that's one of Dad's like secret pleasures in life, that he just likes hanging out with kids and getting to know his grandkids. And it's really cool. It's a cool quality.
It is a cool quality. I don't know if it's very secret though.
It's something that you wouldn't think of, actually, if you didn't know Dad. If you didn't peer into the you didn't know him behind the scenes. I don't think it's something you'd ever guess. And then when you discover it and how good that he is at it, it's pretty cool.
The guy who's not here is looking at you with a furrowed brow.
Well, yeah, he's like, what do you mean nobody knows this? Everybody knows this, because Dad isn't shamed to tell people it either. but it's cool. Yeah,
it is cool. Yeah. So working at Bark River, running the custom shop.
Yep.
Did I count 5 kids all told?
Yes, there are 5 currently.
And being married. What do you do in your spare time, Jim?
What is spare time? It's like the Loch Ness monster.
We don't have any spare time.
There's No spare time. No. So I'm a super nerd in my spare time, and I really believe that one of the best ways to teach math. You're gonna laugh at this, Rob. You ever heard of Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes, but I'm too old to have been a Dungeons and Dragons junkie.
It's believe it or not, it's a great way to teach kids math and creativity. So we'll get together as a family and we'll do that. We'll play video games, multiplayer video games. We'll play board games as a family, and it's just trying to be as inclusive and provide a good environment for these kids to grow up in as much as possible. And a lot of it revolves around fun. We try to make it fun because we have to for our own sanity, because if it was always just, cracking the whip, get your chores done, everything else, it doesn't leave a whole lot of time for anything, fun. So we have to make it a point to specifically go, okay, it's fun time now. We're just going to do this for the next 2 hours. And we're all going to do it together, and we're all going to have a good time, and we make sure that everybody has a good time.
But another thing that's passed down from your father.
Yeah.
Fun is a craft.
It is a craft. I mean,
it
is a craft. You have to do it on purpose. You have to do it on purpose, especially when you're trying to do it as a family with kids. And it becomes a skill. It's almost like a life skill. And then you end up learning it, and then all of a sudden instincts take over, and then you just do it. It's a good time.
So this what I'm going to say now has not occurred to me before we turn the camera on.
Okay.
Because of what you just said.
Okay.
And because of the context of talking about the future of Bark River. Super nerd knife company. Future. My dream for the future of Bark River is for this one product to finally become reality.
Like a one-of-one?
Well, no.
Or okay. Okay.
But probably not a high volume production item.
Okay.
But we're probably talking about a $2,500 to $3,000 mid-tech.
Okay.
A fully functional, faithfully reproduced, high quality lightsaber.
Oh.
By Bark River Knives.
I could probably do the hilt. Probably do the hilt.
You can't tell me that some nights you don't go to bed dreaming about that.
Oh, well, that'd be pretty cool.
It would be.
That would be pretty sweet. But I don't have a nuclear reactor hooked up to the bottom of it, or enough lenses to bend the lasers.
Time, technology, miniaturization—they all work together for the good of mankind.
Maybe someday. Maybe someday.
Who doesn't want a fully functional lightsaber?
I think that even non-Star Wars fans still want the lightsaber.
How could you not?
Yeah, right, exactly. But it is on my bucket list to make a Conan sword. Not the Atlantean with the goat's head and the pommel and everything like that, and the leather wrapped handle with the hoof pommel. That's pretty slick. I would love to make something like that out of like CPM 1V. Not like 420 or 1080.
Or yeah.
But
I bet you could get a blank for that from Pakistan.
Oh, I know I could, but
Damascus even.
I don't know if that would actually hold up to anything. For any reason.
Mike, who's not here, is vomiting right now. Vomiting.
Had to leave the room. No, I would never do that. So, absolutely. Yeah. So, what else?
Let's see what we haven't done, and it's kind of customary.
Yeah.
When my camera's on and you're in front of it.
Yeah.
There's always one thing I ask you to do.
Oh, there is. Do we have a big knife?
We got to have a big knife.
How big?
Is that big enough?
I think this one's big enough.
Oh, that might be like an STS 7.5.
It is. We just got finished delivering these. I think we had the last shipment of these domestically in North America go out today. This is the new STS 7.5. We haven't made STSs since what? 2009. Anything in the STS series is a brand new STS 7.5 fighter. Beautiful, beautiful knife. It's actually very, very well balanced. And as always, two positions: fighter, user. Thumb right on top for fine control work, convex edge geometry, as you guys all know that we do. And these, I specifically told the guys, thick tips.
Thick tip, yeah.
Thick tips. I specifically told the guys thick tips.
Well, because for anybody who's if you're a Facebook administrator and this video's been shared on Facebook,
Cheesecake.
I know Jim said fighter, but it's not a fighter. It's a cheesecake cutter.
Well, I fight cheesecake.
Well, who doesn't?
It's a cheesecake fighter.
Right, but not for knife fighting per se.
Oh no! It's cheesecake cutter.
Cheesecake cutter.
But you use a knife cheesecake fighter for your cutting of cheesecakes.
But as you're approaching the cheesecake with the intent to do harm, you might want to come with some bit of a flourish.
Oh, that one?
Just like
I get a kick that you love that so much.
I love that so much.
And then that's all that is. That's a flourish and a wrist exercise.
And it's like an optical illusion.
It absolutely is. It's like the guys that do the pen tricks. All they're doing is they're just rotating their wrist around. And it makes it look like they're flipping the pen. That's kind of what I'm doing here. And I've known how to do this since I was actually like 3. I remember doing it with plastic swords.
I've been working on this move for like 4 years now. I still can't make it look like that.
Whoop! Comes right around.
Comes right around.
Yeah, here, go ahead, give it a shot. I'll exit camera.
Yeah,
right.
you don't want to be around it.
It's sharp.
See, I mean, I look so lame when I do it. Even I think I look lame.
Oh,
imagine what you guys must think.
I think the term is awkward.
The term is awkward?
Awkward. You look awkward.
I think I've explained this before too. It's like hammer grip in the front, right? Pitch back, loosen the fingers, pitch forward. So I've come all the way forward. Then the momentum drops, and I'm actually holding the blade like this down below, and then the momentum swings it back up into your hand, and I just do like this accordion whoop with my fingers to bring it back in, and then you just speed up.
See, my prideful defensive ego side says my wrist just isn't limp enough to do that.
Maybe need some wrist stretches.
Wow, but
Dad goes, wow.
That would be a load of crap.
Wow.
So
Wow.
all right.
From off camera.
Right,
Wow.
off camera. Wow, that's all right. It's all right. It works.
Yeah, because
So-
I'm just no good at it. So, you know, where I blow it is on the rock back.
Yeah.
Because that sells it, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Well, it starts the circle, but instead of starting the circle straight up and down, you have the start of the circle being be part of the travel.
It's better. I'm getting
Yeah.
better.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Jim. Night, Mike.
That almost looked like a Jim Stewart twirl. No, it didn't.
You're getting there. You only have to do it 900 more times.
All right. I give up.
But no, that whole thing is just a quick flourish, and that's actually its only purpose, as far as I know. It's a wrist exercise for loosening your wrist, and it's a flourish. So if you need to pull it up, you go, what?
What'd you say, cheesecake?
What'd you say, cheesecake? Okay.
No raspberries for me? I think you're wrong.
I think you're gonna give me all those raspberries. So there's that, the STS, and the knife flourish.
All right. So have we decided what's for dinner?
I think no, I haven't. Not yet. I think Abby's doing a pot roast.
Is she doing?
I think she's doing a pot roast, so I'm looking forward to that.
I bet you are.
Yeah, I am. Quick, easy, delicious.
You got anything else you need the world to know?
Well, I do a podcast.
Yes, you do.
I do a podcast. So in combination with my good friend Matt Martin of Vehement Knives, we each co-host each other for a podcast that we have about knives and knife history called Behind the Blade Podcast, where we share all sorts of news segments, history, and we call it tech tips and reviews, tips on how to make knives and what to do, and just general knife history knowledge from guys who make knives for their living every day.
How cool is that? And does it cost anything to?
Nada. Costs
Wow.
nothing. Costs nothing. All you have to do to get it, to find us is go to iTunes, or maybe it's called Apple Podcasts now. I think it's called Apple Podcasts now. You can just search for Behind the Blade there. We're also on Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Well,
And Google Music.
almost like a real podcast.
I know. And all it took was 15 minutes of submitting that URL. And then we're in.
So awesome.
Yeah, it's doing podcast actually doing really well. Over the course of the last 2 years, we have almost 70,000 downloads. In the last 2 years, almost.
That's awesome.
So,
And guys, if you've never listened to it, it's amazing.
oh, thanks.
I mean, how long do you guys go on for every?
We break it up into 15 to 20 minute segments, but every episode is anywhere from an hour ish to an hour and a half ish.
And it's nonstop. It is absolutely nonstop.
Beginning to end.
Both Matt and Jim are, well, both those brains contain more information about knives than anyone has a right to have.
Oh, thanks.
And they communicate it in a coherent fashion that's usable.
That's kind of one thing that I think sells us as well, is that Matt and I get along really well, for one, and two, we set each other up in conversation, and I think it just jives really well.
Does jive
I think
well.
you know, it's very self-serving for me to toot my own podcast and say how great we are, but give it a listen for yourselves.
It's cool.
Absolutely
cool.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get going, don't you?
I do. I actually have my daughter to pick up, and it was just enough time to get this video done and out of the way.
Thank you for doing it. I appreciate you sitting for this.
Mr. Bixby, thank you so much. Guys, have a good night.
Thanks, guys.